Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you and welcome for joining Salesforce Business Academy Part 2. Today, our topic will be CRM 2.0, and we will do our best to explain what that 2.0 stands for. As last webinar, there are two of us talking to yourselves. It's me, Andrius Guzaitis, accredited Salesforce sales professional at company Agmis. And together with me is my colleague Jurgis Bakanas, head of business consulting from the same company.
Hello, everyone.
So first of all, may I ask to tell us if you can hear us properly? Technology is a great thing, but sometimes it do give problems. So if you could kindly write in either questions or chat section if you can hear and see us all right, I would really appreciate that. In the meantime, let me go quickly through webinar rules or approach. So webinar is recorded, which means that if by any chance you either have or have to disconnect for any reason at all, later on you will be able to watch webinar as a video recording. Of course, it won't be possible to ask questions when watching the recording. If you happen to listen to it live, please feel free to ask questions during and after webinar actually at GoToWebinar chat section. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen a sample of how it should look if you are using GoToWebinar application. If you are connecting through the browser, it will look slightly differently, but it will still have questions and chat sections. In this webinar, we will be using again Salesforce.com data and experience gathered consulting Agmis customers and partners. Salesforce asked us to show you this forward-looking statement, which in the nutshell says that if you make a decision to purchase any Salesforce products, please base it on currently available functionality, not the one which is going to be later on, which is planned to be later on. Today, our main topics will be planning of sales team tasks, tracking team performance, forecasting opportunities, customer account planning, identifying neglected sales opportunities, which is very closely connected to account planning, and providing customer insights for engagement, upsell, and retention. However, before we go forward full steam ahead, so to speak, let's take a very quick look of what we had in the webinar part 1. Since it happened a good month ago, I feel obliged to give you a very quick recap. Don't worry, it won't last long. So in short version, what we looked at was what does enterprise software features stand against the values provided. So as an example would be, say, mobile application of enterprise software. It's a great feature. It's very easy to list it and show it as a thing when you are either purchasing or selling it, meaning software. And it's very easy to compare, say, similar software packages by comparing features. However, feature is not necessarily what brings value to your company. If your company does all the business from the in-house, you probably don't even need a mobile app. On the other hand, if your company does a lot of work from the field, either salesmen or your engineers are working in the field, it might be an absolute game changer. So always look what's the value, not what is the feature when you are making your decisions and either to buy or to upgrade your enterprise software. So any value is provided only if it increases efficiency of the company. Efficiency, which may be either quality preservation, time management, reduction of expenses, or good asset utilization, either or all of these, or even other efficiency increasing things. All that brings up efficiency for your company. And enterprise software can do that by providing better effort measurement, having a good integration and scalability, helping with employee onboarding, and of course communication. But mostly and absolutely mostly important, I cannot overemphasize that, is visibility for all the layers of management and employees of your company. So that's a short recap of the part one, and we are going to continue on that today, on the visibility and how it helps us and yourselves, right? So today is about sales, about CRM. So usually sales as a process is described in 3 short words, as you can see: find, win, keep. What do they mean? Find is the part where we find customer or customer finds us. It can be achieved through marketing as advertising, aggressive marketing as sending targeted emails. It could be simply your sales rep picking up the phone and just calling each and everybody on the list. It might have different forms, but find is where we find customer. And only after customer is contacted, only then real sales starts. And then we have to win customer, and this is the part what we will be speaking mostly today about. So win is sales management, is how do we sell actually, right? Keep is no less important. Importance do vary between businesses. If something is once in the lifetime purchase, then you probably are not so much worried about keeping customer. If customers tend to purchase same things every month, then you are definitely very, very eager to keep them. So it might have different impact from business to business, but essentially all businesses still have to invest in keep. But let's leave that at the moment. Today's focus, yet again, is win, that is sales management. And since it's much easier to show than to tell, let us show you a little bit of how does that start, the beginning of the sales process. So I'm handing over screen and microphone to my colleague Jurgis. Just bear with us for 1 second till we change what you see on your screen. And over to you, Jurgis.
Okay, I'm just selecting the right monitor, and now you should see the screen of the Salesforce. So as Andres mentioned, everything begins with the find, later on we have win, and afterwards we are keeping our customers. And there we have a first disconnection between these things. As usual, marketing is bringing, digging new leads, searching these leads through the websites and creating. You all know that that the huge buzz about companies' products and everything is popping into the CRM system, and sales are getting these leads and trying to work with them, having complaints that leads are not enough, have not enough qualification, that leads are too cold for the sales to work on. And then you have this little conflict internally in company. But this conflict is easily solvable by just having an information for the salespersons on the actual campaigns that are happening from the marketing perspective, and for the campaigns that are growing business and selling the products for our companies. It doesn't matter in which business we are. It doesn't matter what sales cycle here is. The most important thing here is that connecting marketing and the sales into one effort. As we can see, at the moment, our company is running a few of the campaigns, and after we have created lead in the system, sales can select the campaign that is suited for this. If there are already set up processes, campaigns are already added into the lead. Let's take an example on the creation of the lead. So as just a company salesman, I'm creating the lead. And as I mentioned before, doesn't matter if the leads get created using automated processes from the website, if you are participating in the event and collecting the business card and you are creating that card in the CRM system, or you are just scanning the phone number of the person. Basically, you adding the information into your CRM. Sorry. From the sales perspective, it could be difficult, and it could look useless to enter a lot of information. Someone can complain, there's too much fields. I won't bother to fill all the information in these fields. But why we have to do that? And there's a little part of the CRM 2.0 kicking in. We have to collect the data that are necessary to drive our business. So how much information we will collect around the lead, that's how more insightful our decisions will be made in the future. Looking into the simple things, we can have guidelines for the success. How you can work with the lead. You know, it's always easier to get to the shore if you have a lighthouse nearby. So each time when we are looking into this guidance, we know why we are doing these things. Lead, forgotten lead for the 2 days or for 3 days, it's getting colder and colder. So we automatically have to have planned actions, how we will behave with this lead. So there is a very important thing to manage the data around the actions, what we are doing with the lead. We have to plan the next steps. We have to log the information, what we already done with that. With this information, later on, we will have insightful reports. We will have insightful analysis based on these, and we can prepare the actions and recommendations for our sales team.
So in other words, let me introduce a few things as well. In other words, when we fill in just details, then we have a structure of sales, which is good and well. However, to drive that structure towards a in a good path, then we need so-called intelligent sales. So that's where we get all the guidance and so on. So none of us salesmen have to invent a bicycle, so to say, each and every time. So what did I forget to ask them? Do I need this? Do I need that? Then we have guidance for it. So that's going towards intelligent, but that's only first steps towards it.
Yeah, so we have the planned actions related to one simple lead, and we have to follow and answer the key questions for our company. We have the call with the lead. Let's call it not the lead, it's already a person with whom we are talking. So we know the information on what is the sales cycle for him. We know how fast we have to move him into our pipeline. If we have some spare time to act on him, or we have to act immediately. We always have to plan, and we always have to log the information.
Yet again, a quick step back. It calls back to what Jurgis mentioned in the beginning, that marketing drops a ton of leads onto salesmen. There is another story in that, how those leads can be purified, so to speak, or enriched, but let's not get hooked on that. One way or the other, the thing is that there must be more leads than salesmen can work on, right? So there we can sift our leads and know which lead is worth working on and which is not, so we do not waste our time.
Yeah, and we have to have a simple actions how to move these leads back to the marketing. And we have this action here, just to move it back to the marketing, add to the nurturing campaign. And we always know that this customer, potential customer, are not lost in our, this gray zone of the leads or gray zone of the potential sales that are just keeping piling up in the section that is called working or in progress. Okay, so now we reach the level when we can convert this lead, and we have already the information what will be created. We will have a contact, we will have an account, we have an opportunity.
A quick reminder, if you haven't bumped in these terms yet, account usually means company, not 100%, but pretty much all the time. And contact usually means person who most likely is working for that company or one way or the other represents company. We can have more than one contact for the company, for the account. In some cases, we can have a contact which works for a few different accounts, job sharing, or it's a group of companies which are represented by one person or similar.
And this is a very important part here to understand about the keeping the customers, because the first thing happens here. You have the integrated data. It means that the second time when this contact or lead will go to you, you already will know that he's working in that company, and you have already the contacts with him, or maybe with his colleague, and you know what actions was done previously for this company. This helps you to make the account planning, because all the actions from the beginning have to be moved into the account. And as you see, we planned the actions for a lead. Now we have these actions on the account, and we have to differentiate. We have to have people who are working with the accounts. We have to have people who are working with the opportunities. And as you can see, there is an opportunity, and we can plan the actions. If we are, we see the opportunity for this customer to sell something for him, we have to plan the actions for the particular sale. But we have not to forget that this is an account, and we have to have a plan how to work with this account.
Yeah, so that's where we bump into one of the first major things of today's theme is account planning, meaning that if we sell one thing, it doesn't mean that we already tapped full capacity of that account. Maybe we are just selling first sample or something like that. So in order not to lose that account between many new leads and so on, it's already open door, it's already hot, it must be prioritized over fresh lead, or at least it must be handed over to the department which works with account nurturing. So it must have its own tasks. Therefore, in proper CRM, we have tasks for opportunities and tasks for the accounts.
And one thing that it's for this opportunity is also very important. At the moment, we have this opportunity only in the pipeline. So our sales manager is seeing that this is in our pipeline. As a salesperson, we are forecasting it, that we are not committing here on anything. We just adding up this opportunity, and we are planning the actions for the later on sale. We have all the guidance for that, but we have to have the time for that. And again, word to Andrews.
Right. So let's make a short interruption in our demo. So just bear with us for 1 second. I'll take over the screen again. And just to keep things interesting, let's ask a question of you guys. Please take a look at your screen again. So if you could connect to ment.com and use the code 556119, it's on your screen, and we are pasting same information into the chat for your easy to reach. And please please answer the question of how long salesman has till the end of the year. As of when? As of today. Today we have 2nd of July, which essentially means that there are 6 calendar months left till the end of the year, and we are just in the first few days of the second half of the year, or the third quarter, whichever way you like to see it. However, it doesn't really mean same figures for the salesman. So please share your thoughts of how long the salesman have till the end of the year. I must tell you in advance that there is no wrong answers, just as long as you answer that. So let's wait for a few more. We already have 3 of you answering. Thank you very much. Please don't be shy. It takes just a second, and it's really interesting to see your thoughts on that. At the moment, we have 5 months leading by a good margin, but it's not that 3 people does not make a lot of statistics. So shall we give it another? Oh, thank you very much. Somebody says 4 months. Do we have more answers? Okay, let's stick with that at the moment. So what does that mean? The correct answer depends on how long is the sales, how long does sales process take for your company. If you are selling really fast and furious, and from the beginning to the end, your new lead usually ends up as a closed opportunity in, say, 2 weeks, then you probably have 6 months, but only probably, because you have to close certain amounts of sales in this year. So in the last month, you will be focusing pretty much only on closing what you have and not filling up the pie. On the other hand, if your sale is closing in like 6 months or so normally, then you have maximum 3 months at the moment, because the last 3 months will have to be dedicated for closing open opportunities and only closing. Yet again, that's where we look at the planning. You as a salesman, or me as a salesman, we are mostly interested in closing sales. That's our job, that's our motivation. But company is not only sales. Well, I don't like saying that, but that's true, unfortunately. Company also has commitments, also has production pipeline. If you are a service provider, then you have only certain amount of service providing personnel. So you have the capacity, so to speak. And maybe your capacity is overbooked, and then you don't really need to close sales fast and furious now. You have to start filling in pipeline later on, and so on and so forth. But in general, it depends. The answer to this depends on the sales cycle length. But as I said, it may depend on other things as well. So thank you very much, everybody who answered. And now we are moving on to the second part of the demo. So just bear with us yet again for 1 second. It will be just a moment.
Okay, now you can, I suppose you can see my screen again?
Yes, I think it's on.
And for these demo purposes, I have selected the opportunity in our system. This opportunity has a close date set on the 6th of July. So basically, we have 1 week to close this deal, this opportunity, and we have already collected all the necessary information for that. We are in proposal stage. Customer knows what we are selling for them, and as a salesman, I have a sales need, and now I can use intelligence, insightful suggestions from the CRM point 2 around this opportunity. Then my sales head are asking me, do you commit this opportunity to sell in for this month? I can agree with him, and I can say that yes, I can commit on this because I have all the information. I'm not only have the feeling that I can sell, but I have the numbers that I can sell. As you can see, Einstein scoring is working in the background, and the saying that previous stages completely quickly. I have created future activities. I have all the fields filled. I have the information about the key decision makers. I have everything that needs to close the opportunity, looking back into all our database of the information, of the data about our sales. So the system are suggesting to commit to this. And as a salesman, I can select that, yes, this is not only the best case scenario for our forecasting pipeline, but I can commit to this sale. If I commit for the sale, my sales head knows that this sale, which is valid for 100,000 euros, will close on July. It means that our delivery team can plan the work on this. And I, as a salesman, can make the effort to close in the next 7 days. Okay, so let's look into this, into the sales head. At the moment, we were looking to the screen of the salesman.
So let's move on to planning sales team tasks, not salesman task.
And let's begin a bit with the forecasting. As a sales head, I basically want to see for each of my salesman's performance, and I selected the Cindy Central, who is just committed for me that she will sell 100,000 euros worth of opportunity this month. So my report is gonna change. Let's refresh it. Yes, sorry, just select Cindy. Yeah, and we have different numbers here. For the July, it's more than 100,000 euros than previously. And as a sales head, I know what to expect. And I know that what we talked with Cindy, she really committing for this. Also, I can see that in the open pipeline, she still has opportunities worth of more than 500,000 euros. So if I see that the numbers that she is committing are too low for our company expectations, again, I can see the statistics of the previous sales, and I can see how we are growing. We can see how our plan correlates with the actual sales capability. You know, the situation changed a lot, so these numbers have to be looked through very often. You cannot plan for the next year. At the moment, I suppose you have to plan for the next quarter or for the next month. And if you have open pipeline, the opportunities worth of yeah, it's 1 million. And here you can see these numbers. Basically, you can add these and talk with the sales manager to select the best ones. And how to differentiate the best ones, you have to look for the qualities. You have to look for the quality of the opportunity, and not only the probability, which is set by the salesman inside feeling. Let's say, yeah, I'm the best salesman and I know that I will do this. No, you can see the score on the database that a salesman entered through all the sales cycles from the beginning of the marketing. When they find this lead gets into the opportunity, you know, all the cycle, how often he contacted you, how often they how often they are looking on your web page, what interactions was made with this customer, and scrambling all this data gives you the insights that you have to look into the the best opportunity that you can close, not the opportunity that salesperson believes that he can close. As you can see, the opportunities with this number is more appropriate, is more reliable to that close than these that you know, salesmen. I don't believe this. And this is not only about the forecasting. Forecasting allows us to understand how we have to move our business. We have to look into the activities, what is done by the salespersons. And based on that, we can see all the neglected accounts, all the neglected opportunities. Neglected, we mean that we have KPIs that we have to follow. So basically, if we have an agreement in our company that account to whom we are working with have to be contacted once per month, it have to be contacted once per month. And with the report, when we know if this account was contacted. So if we are opening this account or the lead, it depends on our agreements. We can see, you can see here, so yeah, we have planned action. This is zero, this is -3 days until we will contact them. So I don't have to worry about my salesperson effort. But if I can see different numbers, and the number will be just a moment. The number will be around this, let's say 16 days. And I know that Syndo Central have the capability to of time effort to work with that. I can ask the questions why you are not looking into the account, which is a potential opportunity. So we have to have a plan for this account. At the moment, yeah, we have the plan. Just few tasks related to that, but basically there is no plan related to this account. So through the sales meeting, we can ask and we can talk around the account, not only about the I don't know, the tasks that was done or not done. We can see how to work with in the future.
So it's the beginning of the plan. So it's better than nothing right now, but it must be more than that.
Yeah. So again, what we are here having more
neglected sales.
Yeah. So we talked about neglected sales as opportunities. Also, just open the screen and you can have a lot of opportunities that are, oh, sorry, there's not a lot of opportunities. We just look into a different screen. That's this one. Yeah, so we're happy to raise.
That looks much more impressive.
Yeah. But we seem to forgot this this pipeline stage. Where the qualification opportunities and where's neglected opportunities can be found out. The opportunities without task, without plan, what we will be acting on. And looking into this section, we can have a potential new sales. So basically, with each salesman, we have to sit down and look into this section by guiding him what will be done to close this opportunity. So let's put as much as possible the data into this and answer these questions by provided guidances to move our sale into the closing stage. And it doesn't matter actually if it's closed lost or it's closed in, but we have to know. Yeah, we have to know, because this will give information for the system, insightful information for the system, which actions are working and which actions are not working.
Also, this is double-edged blade. So by weeding out neglected opportunities, first of all, we provide, as you said, good insights for the management and team leads. On the other hand, by leading neglected opportunities in early stages, we also do a bad. We also do not help salesmen to work with them. I, as a salesman, know very well that it's much more. There is much more incentive to jump on. Could you switch back to Kanban view? It will be a bit more illustrative. Opportunities Kanban view. Right.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Just the whole opportunities, I think.
Yeah.
There we go. Actually, it doesn't really matter. This one will work just fine. So when we have something in proposal, quote, or negotiation stage, it's something which is going close soon. That drives by itself our motivation. However, if there is something sitting in qualification and you are not poked by the customer asking where is my offer, where is my next meeting, and so on, these tend to be forgotten or left for, yeah, well, when I'm finished with all the third and fourth stages, then I'll go back to the second, and then if I still have time in the Friday afternoon, maybe I'll do something with the first stage. So if it does not qualify quickly through, we have to remind salesman and help him out with weeding out and making a sometimes tough decision that this, what looked very, very promising 2 months ago, is actually dead opportunity, and we have to close it, and that will leave better visibility for others. Or maybe it just requires, just a one phone call and move it further, and then suddenly it's live and running again.
Yeah, so and for the demo purposes, for the end of the demo purposes, I just want to show a few other reports that are necessary to look through, and sometimes they are forgotten in the sales meetings. Just to look into the pipelines by the salespersons, how much are committing each salesperson. So basically, based on these numbers, you can understand the person type, how they are selling, what actions works for them, and you can analyze how many effort they put into this, not only into the simple numbers, I made the 15 calls or made the 25 calls per day, so I'm the best salesman. No, maybe he wrote one good email and he closed the deal. So we have to analyze these numbers, and we have to analyze what actions were made to close the deal. Another strategically important report to understand the close rate by the salesperson. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if you make 25 or 50 calls, but your close rate is only 43%. So it's you are spending much more effort and having much more bad result than the person who makes more efficient actions, and these actions are based on the information that they are providing for the CRM system. And for the last part related to that, we definitely have to go into the dashboards and always show not only for ourselves but for our sales team how they are performing, what works for each person. So there's always a difficult approach to sell the idea of the CRM system for the salesman, because they are looking into this as a notebook. But this tool is not a notebook. This tool is an additional wire that could help each salesman to work more efficient, to plan their time more efficient, and to have much more free time after the commissions they receive. not just thinking about how to fill the information. So
I object to code. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Code, it does help with that.
Okay, so
right. So thank you, Jurgis, for the great demo. I'll switch back again to my screen. 1 second. There we go. And actually, we've got first question in. Thank you very much. And for everybody else, feel free to ask questions right now on the question section. We'll do our best to answer them. And in the meantime, question is what is the highest value provided? It's not exactly very straightforward answer to that, but hopefully I can help you with this particular slide. So this is the statistical data gathered from Salesforce customers working first and second year or after the implementation of Salesforce system. It was gathered by the third party. If required, the link to the raw data may be provided, public link. One way or the other, I think it's quite illustrative that after implementation, there was an increase in deal size, win rate, lead conversion. These are really what we expect when we buy that kind of a system. What we do not expect in the beginning, but actually what gives the highest impact is forecast accuracy. Yeah, we can do forecast without Salesforce. We can do forecast based on the financial data, adjusting it a little bit to what's happening or expected to happen in the market, but it doesn't give it an accurate forecast. And what does it mean, accurate forecast? 10% of the accuracy towards the actual happening means 10% loss in either overproduction or underproduction capacity. And it's just one example of what does it mean good forecast accuracy. So I reckon that the hidden value, the highest hidden value, is the forecasting and planning ahead, one way or the other. Now, do we have more questions right now? I don't see actually any right now, so let's move forward. And for the closing, I would like to show you a screen of well, it's all in pictures, but essentially what happened before with sales, what happens today, and where are we heading for tomorrow. So 100 years, 50 years, 200 years ago, we had a traditional selling where we had absolutely best time for hero salesmen, so to speak. They would go ahead, they will know their stuff, they will sell. However, it was really hard to transfer that know-how to other salesmen because it depended a lot on both personal values, including charisma, personal charisma, and quite a lot of intuitive decisions, which were neither measured nor recorded and could not be repeated by others. About 20 years ago, when first CRMs came through, well, Salesforce came through, others soon followed, we started to have a structured selling. That's exactly what we spoke at the very beginning of our demo, where we had a structured data. Yet again, it was a leap, but it was not as big a leap as the next one, and what we call CRM 2.0. So it's intelligent selling. It's what we have today, and if we don't, then we should have today. In other words, it's all the data which provided by structured selling. It's used to both plan, forecast, and do tasks in advance. Know in advance what you will be doing next week, know in advance what your customer will need, and providing that information already now, or having it at your fingertips as soon as your customer calls. We are living in the age of connection, and everybody is expecting that. However, there are quite good reasons to expect that in the future it will go even further into the same groove, and it's called nowadays inside selling. It might be different in 5 or 10 years, the name might be different, but the general idea, I think, is quite clear and unchangeable. the more and more of the data will have to be worked on by artificial intelligence engines, providing insights of what correlates, what happens, and what do we expect. It happens in other parts of the life, so it's really hard to say that it won't happen in the future in selling. I'm even saying that I already see first examples and prototypes of the same. Right, and I believe we are wrapping up our today's session. We are just about managed to squeeze in time. Any further questions, we will be happy to answer it to you by email, and I do hope that you won't be shy to ask them by email. You can send it to webinars@agmis.lt or to address it directly either to me, Andrius Guzaitis, or my colleague Jurgis Vakanas. And let's hope to see you again in the part 3, which we plan to be in September, and we'll happily let you know by email in advance. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And we are over and out for today.